an Easter bunny going down there, so I figured I'd go tape him.
The 90-second clip shows someone dressed in the costume walk up to a red light camera at the intersection of Rural and University in Tempe. The bunny, who Shelton won't identify, takes a giant egg and places it over the camera, rendering it useless.
In pursuit of a Mazda heading south on 3 Points Road.
Here's the deal. Breaking the Flaw sent me this today while I was doing a live stream on my Here's the Deal channel. And he said, "Hey Brian, have you seen the interview with the Easter Bunny and the eggs and the photo radar?" And I was like, I don't remember that. I'm going to show you the actual ABC News 15 interview that happened back in 2010, I think. So this is like 12 years ago. But check this out. This is interesting. But before I start this, let me ask you a question. If you interfere with the activities of a criminal cartel as they're engaged in criminal activity, have you done what is right or have you done what is wrong?
And the Easter Bunny hard at work during the past 24 hours. In addition to his usual duties, he apparently targeted photo radar cameras in Tempe. ABC 15's Tim Vetcher shows us how the bunny managed to shut one of the cameras down for hours.
Here comes Peter Cottontail, hopping down the bunny trail.
Before he headed out to hide eggs across the valley, the Easter Bunny spent his Saturday night hiding a photo radar camera in Tempe.
It's all a scam.
Shelton videotaped the prank and then uploaded it to YouTube.
We was walking down University Rural, and I heard there was going to be an Easter bunny going down there, so I figured I'd go tape him.
I like how this guy is coming at it, but this guy is his name is Jay Shelton, and he's from this YouTube channel right here. And what's interesting about this YouTube channel, let me open another page right here while we're live with you. This is from RP4409. If you go to the videos, something interesting. He hasn't uploaded a video in 6 years. He has 78,100 subscribers, it looks like, but he hasn't. His last video was uploaded 6 years ago. But this is the guy who, I don't know if he's the one wearing the bunny suit and he had somebody videotape it, or if he's the one that videotaped somebody, in the bunny suit or whatever. But he's basically remaining distant from the bunny who took the Easter egg and obscured the view of the ticket writing camera. So what you got here is the state engaged in racketeering, where they use policing for profit to extract funds from the tax cattle, where they're not serving and protecting, but they're harassing and, in this case, collecting. If you happen to go 4 miles over the speed limit, or maybe you didn't stop at that traffic light all the way at 2 o'clock in the morning when nobody else was on the road, this is a way for them to increase the coffers of the state. So they're engaged in an extortion racket, the state is, against the people that they claim to be protecting and serving. And a guy with a rabbit suit takes this huge egg and puts it over the camera, the very tool that they're using so that they can engage in their extortion racket.
An Easter bunny going down there, so I figured I'd go tape him.
The 90-second clip shows someone dressed in the costume walk up to a red light camera at the intersection of Rural and University in Tempe. The bunny, who Shelton won't identify, takes a giant egg and places it over the camera, rendering it useless.
Who Shelton won't identify. Don't you love anonymity? Don't you love being secured in your persons, houses, papers, and effects? We should all be able to don a rabbit suit, so to speak, so that we can be hidden from the prying eyes of the government. We should all be able to legally use our rights to interrupt an extortion racket, which is always in progress, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You gotta love this. You gotta love it.
Easter bunny, I guess he was hopping mad about the fraud going on about the photo radar, so he hopped around and then took this big egg and stuck it on top of the photo radar scammer.
Back in December of 2008, people...
I think he said scanner, but it's basically the photo radar scammer. because it is a scam. It's a money-making policing for profit scam that works against the people. Can you imagine? I brought this up before, but can you imagine a single mother trying to help her kids get by in life? She's got 2 jobs. She's working her finger to the bone. She's so tired. She happens to be at a traffic light, 2 o'clock in the morning, because she just got off of work at her 3rd job, and she wants to get home to tuck her kids into bed, and all of a sudden a scanner hits her, gets her license plate, takes a picture of her. Maybe she doesn't have her seatbelt on or something because she's so drained from working so many jobs so she can put food on the table. And now she gets a $150, $225 ticket, which economically devastates her because she's already working paycheck to paycheck. It's as we've said before, it is another example of merciless economic terrorism.
Dressed as Santa Claus pulled a similar prank also in Tempe. Drivers we spoke with support the shenanigans.
Of course they do.
It's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, tell me why.
Well, I don't know. It'd just be kind of humorous. I'd like to have seen it in person.
I think it's kind of funny. You know, the cameras are kind of annoying.
Tempe police, however, aren't laughing, calling such behavior criminal damage. But
calling such behavior criminal damage. How dare you interrupt our crime ring? How dare you interrupt our cartel's racket so that we can skim off more money from the tax cattle and fleece them just a little bit closer to the skin? How dare you? You're engaged in criminal activity. The criminals, in this case, the true criminals, the ones who are actually leaving real material victims, are telling a guy who's keeping somebody from being victimized by that criminal activity that he's the guy that's the criminal.
Shelton says it'll continue until the cameras come down.
If the legislators would actually do their job, then the Easter Bunny wouldn't have to go out and do this kind of thing.
The egg covered the photo radar camera for a good 5 to 6 hours last night, but it has since been removed. If you'd like to watch the YouTube clip in its entirety, just log on to the top story section of our website, abc15.com.
That's 5 or 6 hours of relief, at least from one camera on that one, intersection that those people got from the goodwill of Mr. Bunny Wabbit. But yeah, we'll go ahead and here is the video right here. This is the video. This is the extended video, and it's only about a minute long, guys. So it's definitely well worth watching. That takes some planning right there, guys. That takes some planning. That is a gesture of goodwill. This is a good work for humanity, guys. Not so much for the state. This doesn't work in the interest of the state, but the state says it's there for the interest and the goodwill of the people, which is what the bunny rabbit is actually exhibiting. We're here to protect and serve the crap out of you. How dare the Easter Bunny get in the way of that? When I lived in Lancaster, California, I haven't seen any of these traffic cameras in Oklahoma. They may be there in just a different form or whatever, and this is definitely outdated equipment. I'm sure everything's much smaller, more compact, less visible, a little bit more covert. But I remember being in Lancaster, California, and getting hit by one of those red lights. I used to work a paper route as home delivery manager for the Antelope Valley Press in the high desert. And when you would go through it, it would flash a light. A light would go, and just light you up. And they would take a picture, and then they send in the mail how much you owe them for going through that light or not wearing your seatbelt or whatever it was. They just want to get you, man. It's all about serving and protecting, though. So hats off to the Easter Bunny. I bow my ears to you, sir. This is good, good stuff. That right there facilitates freedom, but whatever facilitates and adds fuel to the fire of freedom is the exact thing that the state always wants to extinguish. And they will always call a freedom lover and somebody who advances freedom a criminal. What does that make them? If it's something that actually keeps people from being victimized As the cartel wants to do the victimizing, what does it tell you about the cartel who's claiming that they're there to protect and serve? It's lies. It's deception. It's just like politics. The clever and deceptive art of using euphemisms, lies, and emotionalism in order to, get people to think, hey, the government's on our side. It gets them engaged and locked into cognitive dissonance to the point where they actually exhibit signs of being, pulled in by the tractor beam of Stockholm syndrome. And they actually, the general public, that is not just government functionaries, not government agents, but people in the public who are brainwashed by this kind of nonsense, actually, they stand on the side of their oppressors. It's completely ridiculous. Leave it to something this ridiculous, a guy dressed in a bunny costume, to show how stupid and criminal the system really is. I want to hear your thoughts about this. Have you ever been stopped at one of these stupid traffic lights or traffic cameras? How much were you charged for not wearing a seatbelt, or for going 5 miles an hour over the speed limit, or whatever? Or not turning on your turn signal? No telling how high tech they are 12 years after the fact either.